the continuation of the Murli of the 17th of April 1983. We had read the first part of it, and now there are certain personal meetings with different groups. Babdada was meeting half Kumars. So, half Kumars are those who are already married, men who are already married, but now are living like Kumars, a pure, lovely life, detached and loving, detached from the world, loving to the Father. So, first point is, did you ever think that you would have such elevated fortune? You never even hoped that you could ever attain such elevated fortune. However, the Father changed you from souls with no hope into souls for whom there is hope. The time for being hopeless has now come to an end. See, if we did not have hope, if we had lost hope in life, lost hope in whatever is transpiring in our lives, then Baba infuses hope into us. But also, see, in another important aspect here that we have to think about is that many other people around us lose hope in us. They think, many times they think, oh, this person is hopeless, this person would never change. But when we transform ourselves, we then infuse hope in others, you see. So see, Baba is talking about that the Father changed you from souls with no hope into souls for whom there is hope. So we have hope for the future. We have hope in every way, form and sense. But we also then generate hope in others, not just for God, not just for life, but their hope from us, you see, that they don't think us to be hopeless. It's a very important thing to think about. So the time for being hopeless has now come to an end. Oftentimes we say, oh, this person is hopeless. That is, I don't think this person will ever change. So if we can show change in real time, very quickly, if we are able to transform ourselves, then people will have hope in us. So you now have the hope at every step that success is guaranteed for you. You no longer have any thought as to whether you will succeed or not, do you? In any task, whether in terms of effort for the self or for service, let your sanskaras of feeling disheartened now end. You see, many times we are not able to do the best. You see, we want to do the best, but we fall short. Let's say if there's a desire to do some big service, but I'm not able to do it because of whatever reason, my own sanskaras, my own weaknesses, and so on and so forth, then there will be this feeling of disheartenment, that hopelessness. Oh, when will I be able to get to that state? But others are also holding hope, right, from me. They will be disheartened too. They will be hoping that I will be able to reach out and help them. But if I am hopeless within, if I don't have hope, or I am not able to generate hope, within myself, for myself, then how will I be able to generate hope in others, for themselves and for me, or on me? There are many different things, here to think about. So you no longer have any thought as to whether you'll succeed or not, do you? In any task, whether in terms of effort for the self or for service, let your sanskars of feeling disheartened now end. Let there be no type of disheartenment about transforming any sanskara, whether it is of lust, greed, or arrogance. Never feel that you cannot change yourself. That is, it is very difficult to change. Never have such a thought, because if you don't transform yourself now, then when would you do it? It is now Dashera that is burning of the effigy of Ravan. In the golden age, it will be Deepmala. The Dashera of finishing off Ravan is now Let there be constant zeal and enthusiasm for victory, not sanskaras of disheartenment. See? So, what does Deepmala or Diwali signify? It signifies victory. So, Dashera is the time of struggle, of fight, of tussle with Maya, with Ravan. But what does Deepmala signify? That you have already won over all of these negativities. So Baba wants us to be in that consciousness of victory, constant victory of Deepmala, or Deepmala of victory, or victory of Deepmala, you see. So the Dashera of finishing of Ravan is now. Let there be constant zeal and enthusiasm for victory, not sanskaras of disheartenment. Let any difficult task be experienced to be very easy, as though it is not a big thing. Because you have carried out that task many times before. You're not doing anything new. You're simply repeating something that you have already done many times. Therefore, constantly maintain hope. Let there be no name or trace of being disheartened. This is one important aspect that happens in many of, in the lives of many of the children, Baba's children. Why? In the beginning, we don't understand how big this task is of self transformation. You see, we don't know what we don't know. See, we don't know about ourselves much. We haven't gone within ourselves to examine ourselves and see how deep rooted all these sanskaras are. So sometimes in the beginning, there is even overconfidence. Oh, no big deal, I can transform myself. Sometimes we don't even realize, how badly we are affected by Maya. So you see, so we don't even say that, that we can't transform ourselves. But as we begin to examine ourselves more and more, we begin to understand how messed up we are actually. So then there is more and more disheartenment. And that's why Baba talks about disheartenment quite a bit in Avyakt Murlis. Because Avyakt Murlis are deeper Murlis. If you have really worked on yourself, each Baba's child, each student of spirituality will go through a phase of disheartenment. That's why Baba is helping us so that we don't get too consumed by disheartenment. You understand what Baba is trying to say or do here? So therefore maintain hope constantly. Let there be no name or trace of being disheartened. Let there never be any thought about your nature or sanskar, such as I don't know whether this will be transformed or not. You're those who are constantly victorious, not just sometimes. If there is any weakness, even in your dreams, then finish that for all time. Transform any type of hopelessness into a feeling of hope for yourself and for others. We have to do that. When your faith is unbroken, victory is also constant. When you question your faith with why or what, then there is also something or other lacking in your attainment. You see, if we are not connected to Baba well, then we won't be able to pull Baba's energy into ourselves. And so we will have that sense of lack, that sense of emptiness. We won't have that feeling of attainment, all attainments. And that's why we will have more and more of this why and what, doubting ourselves. Therefore, you are those in whom there is always hope and who are always victorious. You're those who transform hopelessness into hopes for all time. Yes. Yes. So don't feel disheartened also, but also, in a way, don't get too overconfident either. Baba wants us to understand the reality. Yeah, again, what I was sharing earlier, that how deep rooted these sanskaras are. That it's going to take a long time to really transform ourselves. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of effort in that that will be needed. But we shouldn't be disheartened, because eventually we will be able to fix ourselves. Why? Because God is with us. God is holding our hands. God is guiding us at every moment. We are drawing more and more of God's power into ourselves. So eventually the transformation will happen. Yeah? Now, the second point, do you constantly consider yourselves to be the elevated, confidence, aged souls? The most elevated souls following the highest code of conduct, the Brahmin top knots, who are great souls. You see how Baba pumps up our self esteem, reminds us of how elevated we are, that we are the Brahmin top knots, we are great souls, we are the ones who follow the most elevated code of conduct, the highest code of conduct. You're now becoming the most elevated beings, are you not? There are also other beings in the world, but compared with them, you're unique and loved by the Father. This is why you have become the most elevated. When you are with other people, you consider yourselves to be completely different, do you not? Although you come into contact with worldly souls, whilst living amongst them, you mustn't forget that you are unique souls. You see, we get colored by the company we keep, right? That's why Baba wants us to stay in the company of Baba. When we get too engrossed in the people of the world, then we sometimes forget our uniqueness, our elevated state. Yes, and we become very worldly too. So, whilst living amongst them, you mustn't forget that you are unique souls, because you have become swans, holy swans who pick up pearls of knowledge. They are storks who eat impure food. They only eat impure food, only speak bad words. So even if they don't speak actual bad words, they talk about a lot of negative things. And even if it is not about gossip, but there is so much of hopelessness in the world. When you get into regular conversation with people, they'll say, oh, America is not becoming great, all these things are happening, immigration problems, and a lot of people get detained at the border, this is happening, that's happening, prices are going up. You see, there is a lot of hopelessness in the world. So if we get too involved in those conversations or those relationships, then all that negativity also seeps into us. So whilst living amongst dogs, you don't ever forget your life of a holy swan, do you? A lovely title for us, a lovely self-respect point, that we are holy swans. You don't ever become influenced by them, do you? In fact, you have to influence them. Let them not influence you. So do you constantly consider yourself to be a holy swan? A holy swan would never accept anything other than pearls of knowledge in his intellect. Brahmin souls who are the highest, the top knot, can never accept anything that is low. We have changed from storks into holy swans. Holy swans are always clean and pure. Purity is cleanliness. By the way, do the new souls know that, we Brahmins should take shower, twice a day, ideally? Do you know that? So at least once we need to take shower. Yeah, we take shower at least once a day, no matter what. Is there any day that we don't take shower? Yes. But also, second thing is, do you know that we always take a shower after the big one? Yeah, if you go to potty, then you always have to take a shower. Do you know that? The original Brahmins used to do that. That's how all, our grandparents used to do that. Then things have changed. And wearing clean clothes, fresh clothes, you see, every day. Of course, in US, these outer clothes, we can wear them 2, 3 times, 4 times. because we don't really sweat in America. But clean clothes, staying clean, well groomed, yes, all of these things are very important. So swans are always clean, they're always white. White is also a sign of cleanliness and purity. Your uniform too is white. This is a symbol of purity. If there's any type of impurity, then you are not a holy swan. So, of course, it is about the inner cleanliness, but external cleanliness is also important. When we used to go to the center in the beginning, we were told these things very importantly. That, of course, if we just clean our external self, the body, we wear clean clothes, but internally, if we continue to create negative thoughts, if there's uncleanliness inside, dirt inside, that's not going to be helpful. But as you're trying to cleanse your inner world, you have to also work on external cleanliness as well. So, the sister would say jokingly that if you don't take a shower for 5 days, you really won't be able to meditate, And practically too, you'll smell so bad that you won't be able to tolerate yourself. So she used to share all these things in the beginning, and it's important that we have inner cleanliness but also external cleanliness. So holy swans cannot even have impure thoughts. Thoughts are also food for the intellect. If you eat any impure or useless food, you cannot remain constantly healthy. Anything that is useless is thrown away, it's not accumulated. Therefore, now finish waste thoughts. This is known as being a holy swan. Acha. Yes. So, holy swans, even when they are in the company of storks, they won't allow the negative energy of the storks to influence them. They will remain clean externally, internally as well. Yes, we definitely get colored by the company we keep. So we have to be careful of what company we keep in general. But of course, we can't run away from this world. So we have to go to work. We have to live in our families, with our families, and we have to serve everyone. But how not to get influenced by their negative energy? It's an important thing.